Hey, folks, we have a band out of St. Louis like a rocket. They have just taken off, and that is the band Feel. If you love old school music with some influences from the recent decades, the band Feel, they check a lot of boxes, and we're talking to Garrett and Tyler. This four-member band forming in the last few years, and guys, all of a sudden, I mean, I know it's never all of a sudden for the band that puts the effort in, but as far as your name and your reach, boy, it has just exploded, and you guys are logging some miles right now.
Yeah. First, thanks for having us, and we are currently, I think, in Massachusetts, on our way to New Hampshire and then to Delaware, and things are moving real fast for the boys here, and it's been hard work, but it does seem like it took a while at times, but not really. There's just been a lot of great support and people digging the crap out of what we're doing, which is awesome, and that makes us dig it even more, and it's going pretty fast, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I big shows, big venues, and I guess it doesn't feel 100% real till you come back into a big venue back home, and boy, a big show next month, opening up for a big name. ZZ Top of the Factory. You guys have to be thrilled about this big show coming up. Big homecoming for you guys.
Yeah, it's pretty stellar to be doing this whole tour around the States with Dirty Honey and then coming back to be playing with ZZ Top. I mean, honestly, we didn't know that we were playing with them until they posted the flyers. I mean, we found that in a pretty astonishing way, which is it was exhilarating. I mean, we had adrenaline pumping.
Yeah, I mean, it's ZZ Top is ZZ Top.
Yeah,
I mean, they're the little old band from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they're legends, and we respect the crap out of their music, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun to do it in St. Louis as well. Honestly, a lot of our fan base, I mean, we have a good community in St. Louis outside of the music scene, but St. Louis really hasn't seen us, if that makes sense. And being out for 2 months and kind of be on top of our game, I think it'll be a really nice homecoming for us.
Well, let's get back to, I guess, the origin story of the band before you even became a band. I know there's been, a movement for the last 20 years plus where, certain young people latch on to whatever is current, whatever's on the pop charts, and boy, with the internet and I don't care if it's Spotify, Napster in the past, every music service we've had over 10, 20 years, YouTube, guys have just kind of gone off and discovered the past. Where did you guys find the passion for classic rock and some of these other elements of music that maybe aren't on the charts today?
I'll let Garrett talk first. Mine's a little more involved.
Yeah, I mean, I started out listening to like Ray Charles and Otis Redding. My mom was always playing Leonard Skinner in the car. First, I wanted to be a drummer before a singer, so I was always drumming on my lap, and I had little rings around my wrists from 6-hour car rides down to Palm Springs. But what really kicked off, my interest into classic rock and everything was my brother-in-law, Greg Narducci, and he introduced me to Jimi Hendrix. And then he was all like, check out Led Zeppelin. And I was like, I don't know about that. And then literally that night I stepped in the car, sat in the car, and I turned on the radio, and Kashmir was playing from the station, Get the Lead Out. And it kind of changed my life from there. And, it all spiraled forth, and here we are, doing some kick-ass rock music. So.
As far as my musical journey goes, I mean, a lot of it starts with just like Garrett, a father figure-esque thing. But my dad, we didn't listen to all the same kinds of music, but he grew up in the 70s, and he didn't have a lot of money growing up, so AM radio and FM radio was his thing, and he would explain it as a buffet of music, that there weren't rock stations. Even KC in St. Louis played multiple different kinds of what you would call rock music at the time. So he said you would have anything on WLS. You would have Aretha Franklin, but then you'd have maybe a Black Sabbath song, and then you'd have Loggins and Messina, and then, yada yada. So I had a large palette of music that was being played in the house, whether it was contemporary Christian music at the time, or America, or Achtung Baby, U2 era stuff. I'm also just a ginormous history guy, and they all call me the encyclopedia. I just know a whole bunch of worthless knowledge. I always say it comes in handy about 6 seconds total of your entire life, the kind of crap I know. But it's a history aspect as well. So I just find out about these bands and these artists and listen. And I always like to say, too, that our music expands a little bit more. Obviously, it's rock, but we're listening to a ton of stuff in the van. Like, our number one artist, well, it's played from my phone, but our number one artist that will probably show up on our Spotify is going to be Sabrina Carpenter at the end of the year. I mean, it's all over the place, man. A lot of jazz, a lot of heavier metal stuff, and we just take all that, and it in little bits it comes out in the music. But yeah, I mean, obviously we're drawn from a lot of the early mid-'70s kind of rock, and how dynamic it was with the heaviness, but also the light acoustic kind of stuff and the jammy stuff with it too. And yeah, that's kind of a long-winded answer to describe what kind of rock we are and how it came about.
Yeah, I just hear the different influences, a little bit of bluesiness, a little bit of everything, and it's pretty cool. And I have to wonder, you guys vinyl collectors, because I look at the artwork and your look, and I'm telling you, it's like taking a modern camera into 1972. Man, you got the look down, and it doesn't look like Halloween. You're living it.
Well, that's good to hear. Not everybody on TikTok agrees, but yeah, no, I mean, this is pretty authentic to us, and it's 2024. Rock and roll is not what it once was. I mean, we tend to be healthy people, mentally and physically, and I say all that to say, like, the clothes and the fashion and the music is authentic to us. We're not trying to play a part, and if someone thinks that, I don't really care anyway. We're going to keep doing it. Yeah. We always say we're going to wake up and do the same thing anyway. But yeah, as far as vinyl, I know Garrett's mom has some. Mm-hmm. No, not really anyone in the band besides me. I'm pretty, it's pretty big. It's too much. It's a few carloads of when I have to move, as far as my vinyl goes, and that just goes with the history aspect too. And I'm excited for us to release vinyl and do it right.
A lot of people are asking for it. Just takes money, dude.
Yeah, man. Honestly, more. I mean, a lot of people, I would say it's 50-50, but a lot of people our parents' age ask for it, but a lot of younger folks do too, because it seems after COVID, people just like want something to grasp onto, whether it's live music experience, and the experience of that, or something to look at. I mean, everyone always says, I miss vinyl, because you could open up and have the liner notes, and it's quite literally a part of the art. So yeah, we're looking forward to that, and we draw influence from it. I think it's natural to want to put on bell bottoms when you have this kind of music, because the whole idea of the 60s and the 70s was getting away from more so the emotionless uptightness of the 50s and being free. And that's kind of how we feel with this music, is like, if you see us play, we're very serious, but we're also very free on stage, whether it's when we mess up and we laugh at each other, or we get into each other and, digging something Garrett does or something that I'm doing or somebody else. So like the clothes, they're just an extension of that. And we have nice hair, so why not grow it out?
Well, I have fun having the music on my phone and all of that, and the ease and everything. But is there, especially the way, when you're connected to your parents and that whole imagery of, the guy of, I love the, the era where the guy kind of had quiet confidence and a lot of horsepower, tooled around with the car in the garage, and all that. Is there a longing for the I guess those simpler times and the magic of the record store, going down to Hampton and Peaches and everything, and thinking of things as a young person, like I'm in my mid-50s, which I don't like to admit to myself, but I remember like the most expensive seat at a Cardinal game was $15. I mean, as a young person, you could do some things. And I know now, student loans, entertainment, and everything, do you just find yourself almost having some kind of escapism going back to that era?
Yeah, I mean, we are realists, and it's not going to be like it once was.
Mm-hmm.
But things were not always great back then either. My dad said, besides the music, the 70s kind of sucked a lot of the times, oil crisis and things of that nature. But I think there's more so a longing for community. And I think there's a longing for connecting with others within that community. I think Greta Van Fleet is such a great example of that. People can say whatever they want about Greta Van Fleet, but they have brought more people together in the context of young people in rock music than anybody has in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're starting to experience as well, especially on this tour, meeting the folks we are, whether they're an older generation or younger generations, is they're all saying, this feels like it used to, or the younger folks are saying, this feels like what my parents said it felt like, or my grandparents or my aunts and uncles and stuff. And that's what's beautiful about it, is like we're not living in the past, we're just creating community in the present. And that's a really, really, really awesome feeling to have, that not that we're providing it, but that we're able to welcome it and help gather folks together and have that sense of community. I mean, that's so much a part of living, is whoever your people are. And that's the great thing about music, is that it's universal. So politics out of the way, spiritual beliefs out of the way, language barriers out of the way. You can stand there for, currently on this tour, our 45-minute set, and just be a part of the band, right? So I think that's what people are longing for. And again, COVID kept us inside, but now we can go outside again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think for a lot of people excuse my language, it was a shitty time during COVID, but I mean, in some ways it was a blessing, because it kind of hit a huge reset button culturally. In 2016, we were hitting a zeitgeist of everybody, all beliefs aside, wokeism or anti-wokeism. I mean, it's just it was either you were hard left or hard right. You know what I mean? And it was just absolute clashing at all fronts. And now it was kind of gave us an opportunity to take a step back and just look at everything from a different perspective. So I mean, I think people just want something that is something that's a separation from just the technological, phone in the face, blasting serotonin into your brain, at all times type of a thing. Something that's just live.
Yeah, and I know this is long-winded, but this whole thing is, we don't care what brings the people together, as long as it's like correct as a human. Bad things shouldn't bring people together, but obviously they do. I'm saying more so, I don't care if somebody's making the music from their computer. Mm-hmm. I don't care if it's all real instruments. I don't care about that. People got on Jimi Hendrix for using guitar pedals because it was new technology. But look at us now. That progressed us into some awesome things. So that, I just think it's a beautiful thing that a community is being made around our music, and I won't take credit for it or let us take credit for it, but it's just been a really cool thing. So the end.
Well, just how did this band come together? What I know that's not always a simple story.
I can make it simple. I was in a band, then the drummer TJ joined that band, and that band became no longer a band. but TJ and I still played together and lived together, and we met a couple other dudes. COVID happened, and COVID was sort of not happening anymore. We played a gig. The singer left. Garrett came around, and then Caden joined the band, and the original singer just wanted other things in life, and still talk to him. Awesome guy. And then our dear brother Roger Linhart played bass with us for a long time.
He's still alive. It sounded like he was dead.
He's not.
I was going to ask where the memorials are going to.
Yeah, no, especially to us. He's not. I mean, he's our boy and always will be. But he just needed other things in life as well. So that's where we're at now as of whatever today in October this is.
Yeah, so coming out of St. Louis, just talk about your influences. I know you hit on that a little bit with Zeppelin and everything. And, you know, I know that there's something about when I think of, maybe some of the happier times of the Rams, Kashmir. You mentioned Kashmir earlier, and the team would come out and da-da-da, and that was good stuff. But what other influences came into play? St. Louis is an interesting position. You're not that far from the south, not that far from the east.
Yeah, well, so that's an interesting thing as well. TJ, the drummer, and I are from Springfield, Illinois. Garrett is from Sacramento. California. And, Roger, I guess, was from Edwardsville. But Caden, bassist, is from Evansville, actually Santa Claus, Indiana. So none of us are from St. Louis. With that said, I've been impacted greatly by the St. Louis music community, getting to know a lot of the old KC DJs like Ron and Joy and et cetera, and whatnot. I mean, the biggest thing for St. Louis that has affected me has affected anyone who has ever played rock. So I guess I can lean on that. Chuck Berry, musically. Ike and Tina, Little Milton, Albert King, all those people. Like, if it was not for St. Louis, I mean, even the Allman Brothers with when the Allman Joys came around. If it wasn't for St. Louis in that sense of being a circuit you had to play, and East St. Louis as well, we wouldn't have music as it is. It's just a fact. It can't really, I mean, you can argue it where rock started, but it's pretty much Chuck Berry and Rock at 88, and Ike Turner made his way to St. Louis, so I don't know. I think I don't know. We're really influenced by the Midwest, I should say, and elsewhere. I mean, the jazz of St. Louis as well. But I should have prefaced all of that before you got to ask about St. Louis stuff, saying that we're not from St. Louis.
Yeah, sorry about that. I kind of read that, and anyway.
No, it's okay. No, we say we're from St. Louis just because it's super easy.
It makes it very.
That's where we're at now. I promise we're there.
Yeah. So, how did you guys break through? What was the moment or person who heard you, or what was that? Where was that moment, or what did it involve? Where you went from, the local gigs to all of a sudden someone said, "You know what? You guys are made for bigger amps, bigger equipment, bigger stages."
Yeah, well, I'll start it here. Through experience with other bands, we learned what gigs not to play, and that's not an insult to anything. But with what we were trying to do, you can't just stay home. St. Louis is a beautiful place, and it can get very comfortable, if you know what I mean. So we busted our butt to be able to get regional gigs with Cheap Trick, and I guess Rival Sons was in St. Louis, and 38 Special and stuff. So those were the kind of gigs we started out with, which is kind of crazy. As far as recently, it's all literally started on March 10th. I can tell you exactly when it was. We were heading back from a Cincinnati gig, and we were like, man, people are really liking this one video we posted. And it just kind of started to go from there. I mean, at the time we had 5,000 followers on Instagram, like 1,000 on TikTok, and people can look into it now. There's no reason to flaunt numbers, but
started up on TikTok. That's where
it was TikTok and then that. So I always say this: people came by the reels, but they stayed for the music, and that's just kind of what it's been proven to happen. We signed with management, I believe it was in May of this year, and in major booking in June. And so for really anything that's been happening like now, that stuff's only been happening since July. And as far as like the tour we're on currently, it happened really quick. But anything else is not putting down our representation. It is what it is. It's been completely organic, been completely grassroots, with the help of digital social media, which essentially is the modern day MTV. It's not exactly what you guys had in the 80s and maybe, I guess, early mid 90s, but that's where people go to find new things. And so essentially we did it through fake MTV. Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful thing. It's a different era, and and then before that it was try to sneak a tape into the DJ, catch the DJ at the bar. Hey, here's my tape. But
take it to the window at KC.
There you go, man. Well, that's good stuff. Now, had you guys been to any shows at the factory previously?
Yes, I had a friend that was coming through town that played there, so I got to spend some time more from the artist perspective, and then I also was invited to go to the Dave Mason show and do the same. So I've been to, I guess, 2 shows there.
It just looks to me like a venue. If it wasn't a musician / architect, the architect had a friend who was a musician, because it really seems like they've got the musician in mind with that place.
Well, totally. And I mean, I guess a little background with it is that it's what's his name? Steve Shankman's place, I think. And I mean, Contemporary's been putting on show. I mean, they were promoting Led Zeppelin shows in the early 70s, so they really have the artist experience down pat, and it sounds very good in there. And I don't know if you've been backstage or anything, but it's incredible. It's the best green rooms, I should say plural, area I've experienced in a venue that size. About 3,000 cap, I think it is.
Well, and I'll wrap it up with this. I can imagine it's a lot of fun. So you have music that I know there are young people longing for rock, and the record industry has largely abandoned it, providing something new for them, and yet also it's got to be neat to go up and talk to some quote-unquote old guys, and then I'm sure just watching them just get blown away, not only by the way you play, but your knowledge. It's got to be a little fun. They have like, well, these guys don't know, and then all of a sudden you're sharing the history and everything you know. I imagine it's been a pretty fun ride, a pretty versatile one.
Well, yeah. I always say, me personally, I'll say for the band as well, but me personally, I'm on the shoulder of giants that are still here and that aren't with us anymore. So it's definitely not something that we've done by ourselves. But yeah, it is cool. I mean, it's always fun walking on stage, and one guy at a rock show said, "Cut your hair." And I was like, "What?" And then I saw his face right when we started, and it went from "cut your hair" to open jaws. Like, yeah, call me a barber, bud. And yeah, it's cool, and it's really exciting. So we have an EP coming out on October 25th. So great timing with all that. We just dropped 2 singles 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, September 13th. Call It What You Will, Goodbye Virginia.
Yeah. So we've got another 4 songs coming out on the EP, so 6 total. But I bring that up to say, well, one, unselfish promotion or whatever, or shameless promotion, but to hear people super excited about that coming out is awesome, of all ages. It is awesome. It's a great feeling to be respected. I mean, we'd be doing it either way, but yeah, it's pretty cool. It's an honor to be able to do what we're doing. We're in the 0.00 repeating 1%, whatever that number would be, of people who get to play baseball and make a little money doing it. So it's just a huge blessing. I mean, we the word deserving doesn't really exist to us, but we're just blessed to hang out and do it, you know?
Yeah, I just I look at it. I look at the couple of performances. I was looking at the videos, and it's like you have roots in the past, but your own soul. And boy, great energy out there, and I know that translates to the stage. So just looking forward to it. And November 14th, opening up for ZZ Top. Just looking forward to the big show, and again, I'm sure excited to the moon with everything those guys have achieved.
Sure. Yeah, we are too. We're really looking forward to it, and looking forward to going home and being able to sleep afterwards in our own beds.
With R&R.
Yes.
The road is a grind. Well, once again, folks, the band Feel. Good stuff. And where can folks find out more about you?
Literally anywhere. If you search us in Google, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, I even find us in places I didn't think we were going to. That sounds kind of weird, but no, we're literally everywhere, man. You can search us on anything you want, and you'll find us.
Guys, all the best. Look forward to seeing the big show on the 14th of November.
Cheers, man.
Thank you so much,
you.
brother. Thank you.
Hey, thanks again.